Okay, guys, so let me see. All right. So my name is AshleyJ. I am Chris's little sister, and I've been flipping pallets. We started flipping pallets back in 2019. He had bought $10,000 worth of computers from a website called govdeals.com. And he made about $30,000 doing that. So initially, how he got started is going on govdeals.com. A school was getting rid of their computers and they sold them to govdeals.com. So he went, him and Crystal went and they picked up the computers. And I was responsible for making the website. I was also responsible for shipping out the items. So I shipped out the items for him and he paid me per shipment. So within, I think, 2 months, we turned $10,000 into $50,000. So how we were doing it initially, we were shipping out the computers. Then once the computers started breaking, because the post office really didn't care about our items, we got smart and put them on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and we sold the rest like that. So I think he paid like 100 and something per computer, and then we sold them for like 250 to 350, I do believe. It's a while back now. So we did that. And then in the beginning of 2020, my cousin Michael found a location and in LA. So I lived in California at the time. He found a place in LA and I went with him and I bought my first pallet. At first I wasn't going to get a pallet. I was just nervous or whatever, but my cousin talked me into it. And on that first pallet, if you're wondering like what pallets is, we're going to get into that in one moment. But he he made me get a pallet and it had hoverboards, it had home goods, so much stuff on it. And I paid $490 for that pallet and I turned around and sold it for maybe 1,000 or 1,100. And I just kept going back, getting pallets and flipping them. So I just started putting them on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, everything like that. So I started doing that. And it worked for me. So after I did that for a while, Chris was like, you know what? You need to put out a course. You need to let everybody know what you do and how you're making money. And needless to say, I put out a course April 9th of 2020, and I've helped over 30,000 people. Have bought my course before. We got people who just do this strictly as a side hustle. We also have people who do this full time. They turn this into businesses. Some people turn this into businesses and then they franchised out. They franchise their business now. So I have a few people who are just killing it. So many success stories, and we're going to go over all that in a moment. So right now, I just want to break down what flipping pallets is and give you guys a little overview of that. So let's go ahead and see. Let's see, give me one moment. Let's share the screen. Okay. So what is flipping pallets? So flipping pallets, the shortest way to explain what flipping pallets is to go to liquidation warehouses, you buy the pallets and you flip them for a profit. So companies such as Amazon, Macy's, Target, Home Depot, they have different categories of items, such as overstock, the shelf pulls, customer returns, refurbished items. So a lot of people think that we just get broken items and we try to sell them. Sometimes the items are strictly just overstock, like they had too much of it and they have to get rid of it, right? So it's overstock, or sometimes it's shelf pulls, meaning they just pulled it off the shelf. We also do have customer returns, and my very first pallet was a customer return pallet. Sometimes customer return pallets might have a few broken items on there, but there's enough money to still make profit. Sometimes there's also refurbished items, right? So all these items are then put onto a pallet and sent to the warehouses, which are called liquidation warehouses. So if you're wondering, how do I find a liquidation warehouse? We're going to get into that in a second. So what is liquidation? Liquidation generally refers to the process of selling off a company's inventory at a discounted price. Usually when you think of liquidation, you think of a company going out of business and selling inventory at a low cost. In this case, it's a little different. The company is still in business, yet they have inventory that needs to be liquidated. And then we kind of went over the categories already. So companies then sell their inventory to liquidation warehouses, and then the warehouses, sometimes they auction them off to us, and then sometimes we can just go and buy them outright. The warehouse that I go to in um, LA is called Via Trading, and there you just go and you pick out your items. Unless they're doing a raffle, you guys can just go up there, let them know what pallet you like, and then you can just put it on the back of your truck or your car, your van, and bring it home with you. So if you're wondering, like, what is a pallet? So if you never worked at a warehouse, this is what a pallet looks like. Then they'll go ahead and stack up the items, and they'll shrink wrap it up, and you buy everything that's on the pallet. You can't take off anything from the pallet and put it onto another pallet or anything like that. You're buying what's on that pallet. So the pallet on the outside of it is going to have a little sticker, and it usually says the price, the categories such as customer returns, irregular, refurbished, overstock. So how do you find liquidation warehouses? That's like the number one question. So there's many ways to find it. I give you guys some on the course, but I also want you guys to do your own research, because new warehouses pop up every single day. So we search liquidation warehouses in whatever state, city, or country you live in. So if I live in Phoenix, I'm going to search liquidation warehouses in Phoenix, Arizona. If I live in California, I'm going to put the same thing, liquidation warehouses in Los Angeles, California. Now every state or every city has warehouses, and that is perfectly okay, because I give you guys 20 websites to order from. We're going to get into that in a minute. So you guys can definitely just Google them to try to find them, or you guys can also look on Facebook Marketplace. That is a great place to find these liquidation warehouses, or some people, they put in pallets. You can put in pallets near me, liquidation warehouses near me, anything of that nature. You guys can put in on Google or Facebook Marketplace. The keyword is liquidation warehouses. Online liquidation warehouses typically ship items to you. Now, you don't want to get big items shipped to you, like big pallets. You guys can definitely get cases or boxes shipped to your house. So you guys can start off with cases or boxes. Sometimes they call them cases. Then you guys can move up to pallets, or you guys can just start off with pallets. And then if you really want to get into this like long term, you want to start buying by the truckload, right? And that's how people end up opening stores. They buy by the truckload, and then they start breaking down those items and selling them in their stores. There will not be a liquidation warehouse in every city, every state. You can always order something lightweight online. So what could you order online? Headphones, tablets, laptops, anything that's not too heavy. You can order that online. Some people travel to the next city or the next state over. Originally, when I started, I was living in California. So sometimes I still go back to the warehouse in California. Although there are some good warehouses out here, some people travel to the next state over, depending on how much profit they can get if that place has good pallets. Not everybody's going to have good pallets, right? But I'll explain that further in a second. So here's some liquidation sites if you guys want to jot these down. We have liquidation.com, quicklots.com, Via Trading. So Via Trading is online and a physical location. Govdeals.com is where Chris found those. Somebody's not on mute, guys. Govdeals.com is where Chris found those computers. Bulk.com, Blue Lots, zapswholesale.com. They also are in North Carolina. Direct liquidation, Auction Nation is a good one. That's the one that I would use out here in Phoenix. Simple Lots, D Lots. So you guys can, I don't know if you guys want to screenshot this or write them down. We will come back to this at the end, but just Google liquidation webs or online liquidation sites if you don't want to go to a physical location, or if you can't find a physical location in your area. So this is the fine print. I don't want you guys to think you guys can just hop into this and immediately, change your life. That has happened for many people, but if you're not doing your research, this is not going to work for you. You're going to lose some money, and I don't want you guys to do that. And each warehouse has their own rules, regulations, processes, restrictions, shipping. Every warehouse is not going to be the same. So if you find a warehouse and you're not sure how they operate, you can always just call them. Just pick up the phone, say, I wanted to go to Via Trading. I will call them and say, hey, I want to come up there and pick up a pallet. Is there anything that I need to do beforehand, or what all do I need to bring? The key to success, you guys, is asking questions and doing your research in any business. So it's the same thing. Research the warehouse you have chosen before making any purchases. So sometimes you might want to just go to the warehouse and look at it, check it out, see how it is before you, or see what they have before you purchase. You don't want to necessarily just jump into this and they don't have any good pallets. So, excuse me, here's a few key things we have to pay attention to, right? Especially if you order online. So there's different product conditions. We have the brand new, which, that's self-explanatory, like new. Maybe the box is just damaged, but everything in the box is still good. We have refurbished. We have grade A refurbished. Inventories like new. We have grade B. The inventory has been inspected, tested, and restored to the original manufacturer's operating specifications. We have grade C, which is inventory has been inspected, tested, and restored to the original manufacturer's operating specifications. You guys can read this. Grade C, the difference of that one is that the condition is significantly, there's cosmetic defects on it. So you guys want to pay attention to this, especially when you order online. Now, if you order something online and you're not reading the fine print, you might order something that is damaged. So you have to pay attention to that. And then we have the tested, not working, tested, salvage. Me personally, I'm not buying anything that's salvage. I will stay away from anything that says salvage, because it basically means that it doesn't work. And I'm just not going to do that. So how do we find a good pallet? What to check for? We check for the quality, we check for profit, we check for damages and the quantity. So the quality of the pallet. So if you, I'm just using Via Trading as an example, because that's exactly where I went to get my very first pallet. You make an account with viatrading.com, and right now you're not scheduling appointments. So you just go down there, you let them know, hey, I'm here to look at pallets. When you walk in, they're gonna bring you into the warehouse, and the warehouse has all the pallets. Now you're looking at the pallets, and you can see, as there's shrink wrap right there, you can see what's on that pallet. You can see on this one, there's a TV and things like that. Now you have to read on this, usually on this little yellow sticker right there, it'll tell you what condition it is. If it's customer returns, if it's overstock, it'll definitely tell you on there. So you want to make sure that you can see your money on that pallet. So for instance, if I seen this TV, I'm going to type in the SKU number, right? So type in the SKU number, and you're going to put that on Google, or you'll put it on QR scanner, or if it's an Amazon pallet, then you'll put it on Amazon.com. It does not matter. You can literally just Google the UPC number, or any barcode that's on there. So it will tell you exactly what it is. It'll tell you how much it goes for. I like to compare it to Walmart, because I feel like Walmart gives you the best prices. So if that TV right there was selling for $500, we wouldn't sell ours for $500. We would probably sell ours for about $350, maybe $300 to $350, right? So once I calculate, okay, say this pallet was $600. Okay, this alone could probably give me $300 to $350. And then you want to just keep calculating. If you don't see your money returning on this pallet, do not get that pallet. So if I see, okay, there's $350 for that, maybe $50 for this, $40 for that, and by the time I calculate it, I'm way over how much I paid for the pallet, then that will be a good pallet. If you don't see any profit on that pallet, if you see an item that's $20 and another item that's $30 and 4 more items that are $20, but the whole pallet is $600 or $700, you definitely don't want to get that pallet. Now, if you see, you can make a profit of a $500, profit of $600, $700, $800, then definitely want to look into that pallet. So this is just a breakdown of how we got started. I think I explained this earlier. My brother paid $71 each for the computers. We had 150 computers. So he paid about $10,000 for the computers. We've got these on govdeals.com. Govdeals.com is a government website that any government entity like the police station, the fire station, schools, like colleges, anything like that they want to sell or get rid of, they can put it on govdeals.com. You guys can also buy cars on there. So if you ever thought about buying a car and flipping it, you guys can get cars for cheaper on there. So that's exactly what they did. We sold the computers. Some were sold at 300, some were sold at 350. So he made about $52,000. And then of course you would subtract what he had to pay me. And some of the shipping got messed up, but this was within like I want to say like 2 months. So this was, so that was his very first pallet. I always show that because that's how I got introduced to flipping pallets, because I was doing like, basically the dirty work, and I needed the money at the time. And that had me thinking like, dang, like I didn't know you can go onto these websites and buy products like that and then turn around and flip them. I thought he was crazy when he said he was going to bring all these computers to my house, but I was willing to do it because I was broke at the time and I was willing to do whatever. So what came on my first pallet? So my first pallet was at Via Trading in Linwood, California. I always say Los Angeles, and some people correct me. Linwood is close to Los Angeles. The price of the pallet is $450. I didn't bring my seller's license. So if you want to do this, you can do it without a seller's license for most places, but if you're going to be doing this full time, I would definitely just recommend you going to get a seller's license. Simply Google how to get a seller's license in whatever state that you're in. So if I'm in California, I'm going to say how to get a seller's license in California, how to get a seller's license in Arizona, how to get a seller's license wherever you're at. So since I didn't bring my seller's license, which I did have, but I didn't bring it at the time, I paid the extra money. So my total was $490. I had 9 hoverboards, 7 of them worked. Like I said, 2 of my items did not work. I had 6 3-pot slow cookers, 3 fans, 3 heaters, a massager, 2 Bluetooth speakers, 3 wall mats. I had a set of pots. I had a lot of items on here. Some of them I didn't even list because I couldn't exactly remember what I had on that very first pallet. But there was a lot of good things, man. Some of the items I sold to my mom, I sold to my aunt, I sold to my cousin, I sold on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. People were going crazy for the hoverboards because it was the beginning of the pandemic, and they're like, my kids are so bored at home. And then I've had a heater on there, and people were going crazy for that. They wanted to come down. I lived in San Bernardino, California at the time, and they wanted to come down from like some of the colder cities out there and come get those fans. They were actually going crazy. Bluetooth speakers, the wall mounts went like crazy. The set of pots, you meet at mutual locations. And we're going to get into that in a second. So basically, in my first pallet, the profit was about 524. It might have been a little bit higher than that, just because I didn't write down exactly, what I had. So once I started doing this, I just kept doing it. I did about maybe 10 to 15 pallets before I realized, like, you know what? I need to show everybody else how to do this, So some people do this full time. I sold this within I think it was 1.5 to 2 weeks. I sold mostly everything off my pallet. You don't have to wait until your pallet is completely gone to get another pallet. So some people wait till they're halfway done. Some people wait until they only have one item left. It just depends on how you want to do it. So I keep saying guys. How do you sell your product? So basically you're going to sell your item. So you're going to sell your items on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. You can sell them on your social media. You can sell on anywhere you want. OfferUp, LetGo and OfferUp have actually merged. eBay, Craigslist, yard sale, it does not matter where you sell these items. You can sell it to your family or friends. You can simply put it on your social media. If I put that I have a hoverboard on my social media, I'm pretty sure it will be sold quickly. You can sell the whole pallet instead of breaking down the pallet and selling one by one. You don't have to necessarily take everything off the pallet and sell it one by one. If you want to start getting pallets, I have a few people who start getting pallets and just selling them. They just start wholesaling them. So this can work however you guys want it to work. So I have a few frequently asked questions. I want to go on some of the websites, and then let me look at the time. And then we're going to look at my Instagram, look at some of the success stories. We're going to go to some of those pages. So do I need a seller's license? On most liquidation warehouses, you don't, or warehouses, you don't need a seller's permit. Some states require it, some don't. Google and see if your state requires it. Even when you call up there, hey, I'm going to give you guys a list of all the pages, all the warehouses. You guys can simply just call up there. Hey, I'm looking to purchase a pallet. Do I need a seller's permit? Because every warehouse is not going to be the same. I don't want you guys saying, oh, you said you don't need a seller's permit. And I did. Every warehouse is different. If you're going to be doing this long term, then go ahead and just get a seller's permit. So how do I pay taxes? All purchases come with a receipt. So when you go to the warehouses, they're going to give you a receipt. Make sure you keep all your receipts. When you start selling items, keep a log of this. So you can do this by hand. You can do this by QuickBooks. There's an app called QuickBooks, and it will log everything for you. Provide all documentation to your tax provider. You probably need to fill out a 1099 form. Next question. Does Pliffin Pallets work outside of the USA? Yes, it does. So start off by searching liquidation warehouses in your country. It does not work for every country, but you can always find a website that delivers to your country. I know that for sure. You guys can do this in the UK and in some parts of Canada. What do I do if I can't find a warehouse near me? Order something small, lightweight, such as phones, tablets, headphones, earphones, smartwatches, anything like that. Order it online and have it shipped to you. Now, another question that I get, where do we store the items? So you guys can store this either in your house, in your garage, on your balcony, if it has like a closet out there. I don't know your living situation. Me personally, I used to put items in my mom's garage. And then when I moved, I got my own apartment. I ended up putting items in on the balcony. And I also put items in my house, in my little apartment that I had. So I have people who fill up their whole kitchens, and then also I have another question that people ask is, do they have to take the pallet home? The big pallet, the wooden part. You don't. You guys, they're going to bring it to the back of your car, and you guys can depalletize it. So you can cut it open and put everything into your car or your van. If you guys don't have a car big enough for this, and you guys don't want to take everything off your pallet, you guys can definitely just order a U-Haul, rent a U-Haul. I rented a U-Haul van the other day. It was $30. So it just depends on your situation. Let's see, here's some more question. How to win bids. So some of these websites that I will be providing, you will be bidding, right? So in order to win the bids, how I like to win the bids is to bid towards the end of the auction. If the auction still has 5 days left, I'm not going to bid. That's just wasting my time. I'm not doing that. I'm going to wait till towards the end, maybe the last hour, maybe the last 30 minutes to bid in the auction. Another question, what if your items don't sell? Erase your listing, post it again. Try lowering your price. If all else fails, donate it to charity and we can write it off on our taxes. I know you guys don't like to hear that, but to me, I like to get items that are in high demand. When I go to the warehouse and I see some shoes that looks like, they've been sitting there for a while, nobody wants, I'm not going to get those. I like to get furniture. Furniture is really good because say you have like a gaming chair and it's missing a screw or something like that. You guys can always just buy a screw. Sometimes the items are not even missing anything. They're just simply like I ordered something and it's not what I received. It's not what I thought it was. So say you go on Amazon. I used to work for Amazon, both the warehouse and customer service. A lot of times people were like, I ordered something and it doesn't look like how I thought it was going to look. I thought it was going to be bigger than this, and they simply return it. So sometimes these items are strictly returns, but there's nothing wrong with the item. People either want their money back because they realize they should have never bought it, or they bought it and it's not as what they thought, or it's not what they thought it was. Sometimes they do return it because it is damaged. So you will run into that. So if you're having any trouble with registration on any of the websites provided, or the item is not as described, or it's incorrect address or phone numbers, please reach out to the liquidation warehouse that you contacted and or that you purchased from, and contact their customer service. There's nothing I can do if you can't log into liquidation.com. There's nothing I can do about that, and I get that a lot. So please just reach out to wherever you purchase. They have customer service. And then how do I price my items? We're going to check online to see what the stores have the items listed for. Try to price your items $10 to $20. Sometimes, depending on how expensive the items are, we might go $50 lower. Let's see. So like I said, you're buying items from liquidation warehouses. This is an overview. You buy the items from the liquidation warehouses. You put them on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Let Go, eBay, Craigslist, yard sales. However, you're going to simply make an account on OfferUp.com. Take good quality pictures. That's another thing. So take good quality pictures, you guys. You don't want to be out here taking sloppy pictures. We don't want blurry pictures. And then, your kids are in the background. We don't know why you can't sell the item. Make sure your pictures are really, really good. Make sure your descriptions are good. Let them know what they're getting. When it comes to pricing, if you want $25 for an item, you should list it for $30, because on some of these websites, they will lowball you. They will try to, like, hey, can I get it for 20? And you can be like, no, 25, that's what you really wanted anyway. So you can do it like that. So here are some of the warehouses that I found around the USA, some in Canada and the UK. Now, these change often. Sometimes there's more. Sometimes people are like, I found warehouses that weren't even listed. I know that, you guys, they come fast. So if you're in California, you can go to Surplus Sales, Via Trading, RL Liquidators, Bulldog Liquidators, Furniture Liquidation. If you are in Phoenix, Local Liquidators, and here's a few of them. So we got Vegas on there. I don't know if you guys want to screenshot this, write it down, Google them yourselves. We got some in Texas. People always ask me about Texas, and here they are in Texas. We got Quick Lots. We have a bunch in Texas. Now, like I said, they're not going to be in every state. They're not going to be in every city. So if you're willing to drive, then go ahead and make that drive. If you're not willing to drive, you're going to order online from the online websites that I provided earlier. Here's some in Florida, right? Where else did I find some? We got some in Portland, some in New Mexico, well, one in New Mexico. We have some in Atlanta. We got some in just Georgia. We have a few in North Carolina. Zapp's Wholesale is a really good one in North Carolina. We have some in New Jersey. In New Jersey, there's also a Pallet Kings. We're going to go over that in a second. So Pallet Kings is in New York. It's both in Staten Island. It's in the Bronx now. And I think, I'm not sure where the third one is, but there's 3 major ones out there. Here's some in Philly. The only one I found in Washington, D.C. is Bulk. Here's some in Canada. We have some in the United Kingdom. Some in Missouri, Illinois. Let's keep going. So we got one in Richmond, Virginia. So like I said, search liquidation warehouses in whatever state, city, or country you live in. You can also search on Facebook liquidation warehouses. And then there will not be a liquidation warehouse in every city, every state. Now let's get into some actual warehouses. And then we're gonna also look on my Instagram. So let's see here. Let's go on. I talked about Gov Deals. Let's go on this one. I talked about Gov Deals often, so give me 1 second. Oh, I don't know what I did, guys. Hold on. All right. All right, so let's go on govdeals.com. All right, so this is govdeals.com. This is the one that I often talk about. So you can simply come on here and type in what you're looking for and see if they have anything. Now, these websites change daily, they change weekly. You might find some Apple products on here today and then none tomorrow. So let's just see if I put in Apple, what happens. Actually, no, not Apple. We're gonna put in iMac. So right here, they have a lot of 16. These are the type of computers we purchased. So you click on it. It's a lot of 16 iMacs. You scroll down here. You see that the bid is currently at 331. The minimum bid to get in is 341 because they're going in $10 increments. So you scroll down here and you can see used. This is the condition that it's in. It's used, right? It tells you all computers have been previously used, had their hard drives removed, and have not been tested for functionality. All computers appear to be in fair condition, right? So you would just have to read everything that it says, right? So if it says something that gives you a red flag, then you wouldn't purchase this. Now this one, all computers have been previously used, hardware removed, not been tested. I might stay away from this one just because they simply said it has not been tested. So let's see what else is on here. A lot of 9 Apple iMacs. You scroll down here, you see the starting bid. Now the auction ends on the 13th, so I would not get into that right now. And it tells you exactly what's wrong with them. Power cords are included. Computers have been powered up to the missing media screen, but have not been tested. Okay. Frequently asked questions. You would just go down here and read all of this. I'm not going to go ahead and do all that, but you guys can do that. So GovDeals is initially where we started. On govdeals.com, you guys can also find shoes. So I type in Nike or Adidas because sometimes these schools, like I said, these are government entities that have to get rid of their products. Well, sometimes the schools will get rid of cleats, brand new cleats, jerseys. So you go on here, I'll tell you where the location is, when the auction closed, the amount. You can see right here is a football jersey. They auction off, this is like individually. I wouldn't buy that, but you know, you might flip that for some money. These shoes look brand new. It'll tell you where so basically, like I said earlier, see the money. You will go and see how much these items cost individually, see how much they're selling for, and see if there's any room for you to make a profit. Now, if one of those pairs of shoes costs $100 and you have about $400 on there, then you can definitely make a profit. You don't have to make thousands of dollars doing this, you guys. You guys can make $500, $700, $1,000. So you come down here and you see some more items. Right? They don't seem like they have too much in bulk today. But that's okay. A lot of this is research. So then you scroll back up. Now let's type in Adidas. And see what they have. Look, here's a big one. 226 pairs of Adidas football shoes. And you would go right there. You will look these up. You'll see how much, what they're going for, what sizes they are, and things like that. So you just have to do your research. So let's go on. Now, govdeals.com, you're not necessarily buying a pallet, you're buying product. Like I said, you guys don't have to buy pallets. I call it flipping pallets because I started off flipping pallets. And that's exactly. So let's see. All right, so govdeals.com. This is exactly where I started. If you guys, oops, what happened? Come on here. This is in LA. They also ship to you. So you come over here and you see products. Oh, what happened? And it's like, what kind of products do you want? You can come over here and get electronics. You can get furniture, cosmetics, clothing. This is an example I like to show. Now, a lot of people think this is just getting old items and reselling them. It's not true. These items are shelf pulls. So shelf pulls licensed sports clothing. This is actually sold out right now, but I do want to give you an example of this. So this is $337.50. you're basically paying $4.50 or $4.50 per unit, and you have 75 units. Now, we all know sports clothing does not go for $4.50. We all know sports clothing is pretty expensive. So this right here, you could maybe sell for $20, $25. You made your, that $4.50, you're definitely in the profit. So this is just an example of what they have. People are always into sports. Sports are not going anywhere. Now, even if it's something you wouldn't particularly like, you don't like, these teams or anything like that, you guys can still purchase this. Now, this is a nice jacket. This will come in a box, right? We're going to get into pallets in 1 second, but this will come in a box. And let's see here, the Lakers, Seattle Seahawks. All right, let's get out of this. Wait, can you guys see this? I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing this right. Okay, yes. All right. So that was if you want to buy a case. If you don't, so this doesn't have to be that expensive. All right, this is less than $500, can get you started with some product, but that's actually sold out right now. Let's go back. So here's some more clothes. If you're not really into clothes, me personally, I'm not into clothes when it comes to reselling, just because unless it was sports clothing, that's a little different. But if you're into clothes, you guys can do that. Now you come over here. Let's see what they have. A lot of this is a lot of research. Okay. So this palette, this is the shoe palette. Overstock. So when it's overstock, it means that the items are not, oh wow, look at this, 1900. So basically, okay, I'm sorry guys, I drew a blank right now. So anyways, you're paying $19.50 per shoes. There's some bands on there. Everybody knows that those are super cute. You're paying per shoe. So you would just see if it will be worth it for you to buy this. You're getting 100 pairs of shoes. You're paying $19.50 per pair. And then you just scroll over and see what they have. There's some Converse, some lugs. And then this is going to come on a shoe palette. So here's a shoe palette I always usually show. And me showing one of these shoe palettes is what attracted a lot of people to come get this course. So here's a shoe palette. It's on viatrading.com. So this can be, like I said, you guys, the price range can go from cheap to expensive. Let's get out of there. What else do they have on Via Trading? Furniture. So some of this stuff, this is estimated $40,000. They won't even let you look at this until you log in. And here's what's coming on your palette. So like I said, some of this stuff will be cheap. Some of them will be reasonable. Some will be super expensive. It's whatever you're into, whatever your budget is. Now let's actually go on my Instagram so we can see, I can give you guys a few places to go to. Actually, West Coast Pallets. Can you guys see this? Okay, you guys can see this. Let's turn it up. Actually, I don't even know if you guys can hear this. Oh, that sucks. You guys can't hear that. Okay, so here's an example. His name is West Coast Cowboy or whatever, right? So he originally started flipping pallets, and then he actually got a job at the warehouse. And once he got that job at the warehouse, he started buying pallets and start selling them on his own. So you guys can go to him if you're located in California. He's in California. He sells pallets just like this. he was able to start his own business, and this can be you guys. This can be you guys too. You can start your own business, flipping pallets. So if you guys are in California, here's somebody to go to. But let me show you all the people on my page who are flipping pallets and who are. We show our success stories basically every day. So here's a place in New York. It's Pallet Kings underscore Staten Island. This guy just got a pallet. I don't think you guys can hear this. I don't know what's going on with the sound. But he's basically telling him that he bought my course. He went down there. He picked up the pallet. Now he's helping him put the pallet in the car. Right? We got, let's see what this is. So somebody got a furniture pallet. You can't go. You can't go wrong with a furniture pallet 9 times out of 10. Some of these items are still boxed up. You guys can also go on overstock.com. There's pallets on there. Somebody right here, what did they get? Look at these. Are these maybe tablets or laptops? What else? So some people do their own research. They find their own. Here's a lady right here. She got all these pallets. So let's see here. Pallets, more pallets, more pallets. Now, if you guys want to know what's in the box, you put in that number over there. I don't know if the screen will show you. Put in that number and see what is in that box. And then you'll see if you can find your money on there. What else? We have a $500 pallet sold right there. Somebody else got a U-Haul, and her name is right there. So she got a pallet. There's people asking questions on, that's not a pallet. But you can see people are literally doing this every single day. This has been around for so many years, but I think our people need to know about it. Like anybody who's looking to build their wealth. Like I said, I have a few people who started their own businesses doing this. I have a few people who quit their jobs doing this. I have people who keep their jobs and they just do it part-time. It's whatever. This can be a full-time thing for you. This can be, sometimes you find, look, TVs. Pallet King Staten Island had TVs for sale. I'm trying to see what else. So this guy connected with the West Coast guy that I just showed you. He's a mover. And so they linked up together and they're going to be now delivering pallets in California. It's pretty cool. So this has been going on. Look, we have a couple right here that is doing it. He came from San Diego to purchase a pallet. So you guys can do this. I don't want to keep going on and on. Oh, actually, I do want to keep going on and on. This guy right here, I actually bought some shoes from him, and he actually lives in Phoenix too. I don't know why this is not popping up, but he got a shoe pallet and he's been killing it. He started his own business, and now he has Miggy, I think it's called Miggy Shoes or something like that. I have a guy that runs the group chat with me, the original group chat we started. His name is Chris. He started selling mystery boxes. So, oops, we have people doing this full time. Now let's get back over here. Let's go on one more website. So let's go on bulk.com. I hope you guys have your notes out. I hope you guys are writing this down. We're going to go back to the PowerPoint in a second so you guys can write down some online places and some physical locations. So you go on here and it tells you like what category you're looking for. I had a guy that was simply buying baby products. Baby products never stop selling because people have kids every single day. So let's see. And you just come out of here and you see what they have available. Oops, let's go back up. So it tells you where the warehouse locations are at, but these items can definitely be shipped to you. Strollers and car seats, originally $1,420. Excuse me. And then this is $364. Plus, you're going to have to do the shipping. So if the shipping is too much, it cuts into your profit. This is not something that you would want to get. Now, if you can go pick this up, this might be something that you want to get because they're selling it for $364. Now, you do have to see the condition, especially if you're selling a car seat. You definitely want to see the condition. If it is non-working, I wouldn't sell a broken car seat. That's just not me. I'm not doing that. So you can come down here, you can see strollers. What's on here? Car seats, sporting goods, general. So it'll tell you the original retail, and then it will tell you what they're selling it for. It'll tell you if it's inspected or not inspected. It'll tell you this is what's going to kill you right here is that shipping. So be careful for that. So if you want, and then come down here, and you always want to read the brand, the product, what's the category. You make sure when you're ordering online, you read it once, read it twice, read it again, because you don't want to just jump into this and then you didn't read something and it's broken. You got broken items. You bought a salvage pallet and now you don't know what to do with the items. So definitely do your research. So that's the kids category or the baby category. You can do apparel and accessories. You can do general merchandise, whatever you're into. This is up to you. So some items, these are really cheap items. If you, like I said, you can get the cases, which are the boxes, or you guys can do actual pallets. So if you want to take off the case and just look for pallets, then you would go on there and it'll show you what's on here. So uninspected returns, there's 22 items on here. You would, let's see, condition is unknown. And then it'll tell you about the pallets, and this is a foot massager. So then you would take this UPC, so copy, and then let's go put this on Google. So these are selling for, oops. So these are selling for 100, what did it say? 139 per unit. And I think that we had how many units on there? You had 22 units, right? So then you know that you're not going to sell yours for probably that much, but maybe if you sold it for like 100 or 90 or anything like that, depending on the condition, then you guys know that you guys can make some money off of this because it's only $273, right? And then one of them was going for $139. So you can definitely see the profit in that one. So basically take the UPC before you purchase anything, take that UPC, go put it in Google, go see what it's selling for, right? Also check, don't just check eBay because sometimes on eBay, that's already people reselling items. So they might be, you know, a little higher. You want to put that in and then maybe go on Amazon or maybe go on Walmart and see what it's selling for. That will be, you know, more smart to do. So I want to go back to the PowerPoint so you guys can get a chance to write some of this down. Let me find it. Okay. So let's start off with the online websites. All right, so if you guys want to take a minute to write these down, you guys can also do your own research. Type in liquidation warehouses near me, pallets near me, pallets for sale on Facebook Marketplace, on Google. The keyword is pallet. The keyword is liquidation, wholesale, anything like that. Sometimes you guys can find liquidation stores. I actually found a liquidation store that was selling furniture around the corner from me, and I actually bought something from them. So you guys can go buy stuff from like little places like that and then turn around and sell it. So I'm just gonna give you like, you know, 2 more minutes to write these things down. We went on trading.com, bulk.com, Zapp's Wholesale. Zapp's Wholesale, I do believe, is in North Carolina too. So I'm gonna give you guys some time to just write these down. If you guys want further information on this, or if you guys have questions, just send me a DM. I think I'm gonna try to open up for questions, but I'm not sure how to do that. This is my first time doing this by myself. So we're gonna try to do that because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions. Basically, we're, to reiterate, if anybody came in late, we're buying items from liquidation warehouses. We're turning around and selling them on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, or social media. And then we're taking that profit. We're going to reinvest back into buying more items. Or you can use this money as your, your side hustle to get into something bigger. If you want to learn how to, invest your money, and this is a great way. No matter, even if you have a 9 to 5, or even if you have you have a pretty good career, you need multiple sources of income, and this is another way for you guys to tap into having multiple sources of income. So I'm gonna leave this up for 30 more seconds, and then we're gonna go on to the actual physical locations. So if you guys are in California right now, you guys can check out West Coast. He's in San Bernardino. Go on my Instagram, you can find him. If you guys are in New York, you guys can check out Pallet Kings. They'll help you out. There's so many places that will help you out. A lot of them I've started making relationships with, and I send them people. So I send them, hey, I'll post them on my Instagram, and then they'll go and like, hey, you sent me so many people, thank you so much. And then they'll create videos for me, thank you me, and then it's just a cycle. So you don't have to do this full time. This can be a side hustle. And another question I always get is, how much do I need to start off with? So you've seen some cases for less than $500. You've seen some pallets for $500. I like to say $500 to give you like a wiggle room. Sometimes it's going to be more expensive. Sometimes it's going to be least expensive, but I mean, more expensive than 500. Sometimes it's going to be less than 500. That didn't even make sense, but you know what I mean? But I like to say $500 is a good starting point. Sometimes but you can't give one specific price, because if I say, oh, the pallet is $500, but it has $1,200 worth of items on there, or $2,000 worth of items on there, and then that $500 wasn't too bad. Now, if I say the pallet is $700, oh, you want to start off with $700, and your pallet doesn't even have $300 worth of items on there, you don't want to get that. So remember, make sure you can see the money. That's a tip that I have. Make sure you guys can see the money on your pallet. Start calculating. Don't be in a rush to just get items to start doing this, because you will lose money. Excuse me. And when you lose money, you're going to come back to me and say, like, this is a scam or whatever. Another thing, make sure you guys are reading the conditions of the product. Don't go get salvaged items and then wonder why it's not selling, or say like everything came broken because you bought a salvaged item. Here's some places in California, like I said, Arizona. Take a while to write these down, or like I said, you guys can simply Google these. And what else? Oh, sorry. I'm gonna give this a little more second. So if you guys have any questions, write them down or remember them. I'm gonna try try to answer some questions. But I'm about to switch the page, so we'll switch it. Some in Georgia, you guys can do this in Georgia and Atlanta specifically, North Carolina, South Carolina. Looks like there's only one spot, but you know what? So many people are getting into pallets. These places change all the time. COVID has affected some of these places. So make sure before you go, you call up there, you check out their website, see every warehouse has their own rules, their own regulations. Now, if you guys want to turn this into a business, you guys can definitely get an LLC, and you guys can and an EIN, and turn this into an actual business if this is something that you want to do. You don't need an LLC to get started. That's another question I get a lot. Do not go get an LLC before getting started. Me personally, I wouldn't do that before I ever got my first pallet, because this might not be for you. Flipping pallets is not for everybody. I wouldn't want you to waste money, time, and effort to go get an LLC, and then you start flipping pallets and it's not for you. So definitely just start flipping a few pallets, see if this is for you. And then that's when you want to, you know, after making like probably $4,000, $5,000, that's when I would turn it into an LLC. I just wouldn't initially just start off with an LLC unless you were trying to get funding, and then business credit and things like that. If that's what you were trying to do, then I would do in that direction. But simply just trying to start off, I would see what it's like flipping pallets. I wouldn't go create a whole business around this until I knew this is something that I wanted to do. Like I said, you guys, all of this can be found on Google. Um, if it's not on Google, it's on Facebook. If it's on Facebook Marketplace, you guys can YouTube places. So search on YouTube, liquidation warehouses in California, in Arizona, in Atlanta, in wherever you live. Like I said, they're not going to be in every state, any city, or every city. So let's try to, oops. Let's try to open this up for questions. I don't even know if I know how to do that. Okay, stop sharing. Let's see. I don't know. The chat is right here. Okay, there we go, guys. Let's see what it says. Let's go, Ash. Okay, thank you for this. This will be available later, yes. The PowerPoint slides is actually my course, which can be purchased today for $20. Atlanta has a good one. What are the keywords you can put in the marketplaces and where? You said Facebook Marketplace. Pallets for sale. Yeah, so you guys can look for, you guys type in liquidation. Oops. Warehouses near me. Pallets near me. What else? Anything like that, put that on Facebook Marketplace, put that on Google. I'm trying to think of other questions that I always get. If you guys have any questions, put them right there in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. What other questions? So for Gov Deals, Crystal, she's like the partner in the Wealth Squad. She actually went out there and picked them up. Shipping costs, let me see. So in the group chat, you guys, in the palette, in the Discord, right? In the group chat, we're gonna start putting all of our questions in there too. So if it's not live right now, you guys can go ahead and answer those questions. So Gov Deals, we actually went to that location and picked up the items. I don't know if they ship. They might ship. I don't know. You guys have to go read it and it'll tell you like the shipping. Sometimes it'll say has to be picked up and sometimes it'll say can be shipped. So can we inspect in the pallets? So when you go to the pallets, yes, you can look at them. You can't take them off the pallets and look at them, but you guys can look around and see like, and ask questions like, hey, is this customer returns? Is this overstock? And they'll let you know, but you can't physically take one off and look at it. What would you say is better, warehouses or websites? I've done both. I went to physical locations. Depending on if you have one close to you, I would definitely check that out first. Now, if you're going to buy something like phones, headphones, tablets, those are the things to type in if you're looking on the website, something that is lightweight. Then I ordered some phones, but I made a mistake when I ordered those phones. I definitely didn't read. That's why I said read it once, read it twice, read it again. I didn't read and I paid $4,000 for, I can't remember how many phones it was. And it says that the items were working, but they might have some minor scratches or there's some minor, something wrong with them or whatever. And I didn't read that part and I bought them and I spent $4,000 and I lost my money. But I also bought some headphones before online and they were perfectly fine and I flipped those. I also flipped those. So, and there was nothing wrong with those. So it just depends on you. If you have the time, the energy, and the effort to get the pallets and flip them, if you know, have that time, then go ahead and do that. If you just want something small and you want to just buy something small that comes in a box, then go ahead and just, you know, do it like that. It really depends on you. This hustle is literally up to you. Pallets for someone on a budget. I recently paid off my credit card and plan on using it, but I can't go over 500. Yeah, so if you guys don't have the 500, or 500 is your budget, like I said, I found pallets I paid $4.90 for my very first pallet. If you want to do something cheaper than that, and I bought cases or boxes full of Uggs. I think it was 6 pair of Uggs, and I bought them for $250, and they retailed at like $700 or $800 for all of them together. So you guys can get cases or boxes. We just went on bulk.com. You guys can see that on bulk.com. That you guys can either buy pallets, cases, and then if you really want to get into this long term, then you guys can do truckloads. So I'm going to answer 2 more questions. It's 6:30 right now. This is Al from South Carolina. Thanks to sharing this information. Tell Chris thinks his stock information has to help me make over 40,000. How to avoid people that be playing on Facebook Market. That's dope. That is so dope. So yeah, I always preach that you guys can definitely use this as extra money to go invest in the stock market or go invest into something that you really want to do. Yeah, so 490 was with the sales tax. So that was out the door, 490. That's how much I paid. But you guys can definitely start off with something smaller. I found something for 250. It was Uggs. And start off small, then you guys can expand. Okay. So that's the last question. I do appreciate you guys. We're ending this now. Reach out to me on this is my Instagram if you guys want to follow me and look at other people's success stories. That's my Instagram right there. And then also in the pallet chat, I have my own pallet chat, and then me and Chris decided that it was best for me to just move onto this platform so we can make it, you know, like a big thing for you guys. So we're going to start putting more advice, more tips and things like that in our pallet chat. So I appreciate you guys. Definitely follow me on Instagram. You guys can always send me a DM and ask any question that you guys have about flipping pallets. If you guys wanted this information, the next time I do pallets, we're going to go into like some tips, or, you know, I just want to give you guys a brief overview about what flipping pallets is. The next time we're going to go into some tips, some things to look out for and things like that. So I hope this helped you guys. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to my brother for, you know, he started this, and I kind of took over and started flipping pallets, and we created a whole brand around it. So I appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Thank you.